Hey guys, Darth Thork here, back with part 12 of my If My Heart Had Wings playthrough. Sorry, I butchered my own intro, but regardless, welcome to part 12. So, last time we went on a date. Kotori and Aoi went on a date. Things are getting pretty spicy, and things are going well. The relationship is progressing smoothly. I don't know how long of Kotori's route we have left, but I imagine we're getting near the tail end-ish, so, we'll see. But, otherwise, nothing else too crazy to say. So, I really wanted to play Need for Speed, but just so I didn't, I decided to do the mature thing, and we are jumping back on this because it has been a few days. So I'm doing the mature thing, even though I really could go for some Need for Speed, so it is what it is. Anyway, so initially she had actually said, "Welcome home, you were on a date," right? And then when I was syncing my audio, I think I accidentally clicked or something, because now we're on this part. So she says, "Welcome home, you were on a date, right?" And then when we returned to Flying Fish Manor, we saw Agaha, I'm assuming is what that's supposed to say. That doesn't really make any sense. "Hey, why did you come back? On club days off, you should be hanging out elsewhere."
いいでしょ? ここが落ち着くんだもん.
That's okay, right? I can relax here.
どうでしたか、小鳥先輩?
Why is that, Kotori? Asa grew impatient. Asa, who grew impatient, drew closer to Kotori. That's another theme I'm noticing. So that's something else that started to happen last episode. The translation started to fall apart. And in this episode, it looks like it's going in the same way. So translation is looking a little rough. And so I'm going to have to do some translating here and kind of make up what I think they're mostly trying to say. So Asa, who grew impatient, drew closer to Kotori.
すんごい楽しかったわ。映画が大当たりでさ、お昼の豚骨ラーメンがまた最高で。
It was absolutely a blast. The movie was great. For lunch, we had the most delicious ramen, and then...
それ、何?
And then what?
これはね。
And then, well, Kotori placed a treasured-looking bag on the table. Agaha's face saw the brand logo on the bag, and her expression said, "Oh my."
そのショップ知ってる。服買ってきたんだ。結構高かったでしょ。
I know that shop. I went to buy some clothes there. It's expensive, right?
違う。
No, not really. Agaha tilted her head with a puzzled expression.
買ってもらったの。
It was a gift. Kotori's face beamed with a smile.
うわ、うぜ。
Oh man, wow.
聞くんじゃなかったわ。
I heard that.
見て見て、ほら。
See here? Check it out.
ワンピースだ。綺麗な色。小鳥先輩に似合いそう。
Wow, a dress. It's a nice color. I'm sure you would look great in it.
葵くんもそう言ってね、買ってくれたの。
That's what Aoi said too, so he bought it for me. Ahem. For some reason, both Agaha and Yoru looked at me. Right, I have to go clean the bathroom, so...
お風呂なら、かなこさんが入ってるわよ。
Oh, if we're talking about the shower, Kaneko is using it right now. Alright, I'll go clean the entranceway.
でね、映画の後、カフェフラッグスでミルフィーユ食べて。
But hey, after the movie, we went to Cafe Flags and had cake or pie or something. I left Kotori, who was excitedly retelling our date, and zipped out of the dining hall. Again, I'm having to kind of paraphrase here because the translation falls apart, so bear with me, but it's for all of our own good. Morning. Yeah, today it started. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be or if it's just supposed to be, yeah, today it started. I don't know.
おはよう、ハット。まだ早いから寝てていいわよ。
Good morning, Hat. It's still early, so you could sleep some more. I got out of bed and changed clothes. Are we from Kotori's perspective? Gasp. I made my way over to my wheelchair. Yep, wow, we're from Kotori's perspective. I'm not sure I think that's a first of being in a perspective like there wasn't Aoi. That's exciting. Anyway, I made my way over to my wheelchair, which was by my desk. Last night I pulled up my notebook. Izuka's notebook, and was looking over it. Interesting. From the day which I found this notebook, I began to skywatch. Around that time, the idea of flying was only a sort of vague yearning. My name is Kotori. I had issues with my name since I was young. Kotori equals small bird. I joined a ballet group. Every day I would practice jumping higher and higher. However, it still wasn't flying. I became very infuriated with the fact, irritated by that fact. After the accident, when I lost the use of both feet, this irritation became even stronger. I felt like a bird whom had its wings pulled off. Then I found this notebook. The notebook was actually a journal that contained methods on flying, like how to naturally soar. It was also written by a girl. The vague desire to fly turned into something much greater. I drew the silhouette of large white wings across my chest. I wanted to try and fly too. I was a finch, I said. I read and reread this notebook as if it were a legendary tale. Man, the translation's falling apart, dude. I don't know what the hell happened. Like, do they have to rapidly get through to the ending of the game to get it out in time or something? Because, dang. Anyway, time and time again. That day, I created many aspirations, and today, they are within my reach. That's what I think. I'm nervous, and I haven't been able to sleep well. Agaha blinked weakly. Agaha? Why is she what? Okay, let me back that up. I'm assuming she didn't blink weakly, she knocked weakly. Because, like, she's not in the room. That doesn't make any sense. Kotori knocked weakly. Or Agaha knocked weakly. There we go. Kotori, you're awake? If you don't wake up now, you're gonna be late. I'm awake. I'm going soon. Right. Hat, I'm heading out. You be good. Goodbye, little duck. Looks like today is gonna be pretty hot again. I complained at the sun. The sky was clear with an occasional cloud and some wind. Good. Okay, this one is the yoke and this is the rudder. Don't mix them up. This one yoke, this one rudder. Kotori, with a meek expression, repeated the instructions. You shouldn't touch me until instructed. Especially during takeoff. It's unbelievably dangerous. I'm assuming that means you shouldn't touch it until instructed, especially during takeoff. Because he's like, I don't know what that has to do with him. So I'm assuming that's him saying, don't touch the yoke or anything until we're already in the air. Yeah, I got it. I was sitting... What is happening? I was sitting beside Kotori, so I could only see the back of her head, but I think I could feel her nervousness. Kotori. Amane stopped by. She took the day off and came here. Amane wanted to see her design cockpit in action, as well as watch the test flight to see if there should be any further modifications. What is it, Amane? I'm kind of busy right now. I love Amane. What's this? A bit nervous, are we? The sky's a scary place. It's so high. Mwahaha. Amane said in extremely good humor. When I was in your shoes, I just repeatedly wrote the character for person and drank. That worked for me. Kotori looks and glares at Amane. I'm just excited right now. If you're here to make fun of me, then get in the back. Rather than make fun back at Amane, it's better to get even. Back when Amane was scared taking her test flight, Kotori, with her hand, repeatedly writes the character for man and slapped her in the face. You guys remember the memory, even if the translation's rough. People are surprisingly bad, even Amane. If it's that you want, I'll lend it to you. When she was finished, Kotori gave her a charm to protect her against traffic accidents. Thanks, Amane. I think this arrangement works well. Asa, who worked the winch system, radioed. Alright, can you fly? You have a date with the sky, have fun. They closed the canopy over us. I felt my nervousness grow. We checked everything one last time and made for takeoff. I was sitting behind Kotori in the back seat. I tried to catch a glimpse of her mood. I think we're back in Aoi's POV again. She sat nervous, itching to do something. Do you remember the procedures for takeoff?
ちゃんとシミュレータで予習してきたわ。
Oh, so she has been practicing in the simulator. I practiced him on the simulator 1,000 times. Amane's simulation software had a procedure for takeoff and landings too. Kotori's problem was with her legs, not with her memory. I knew she was quite level-headed and that she could remember all of the procedures. Okay, let's go. I gave the sign that we're ready to Agaha outside. Agaha then gave the final okay to Asa. Here we go. The winch was released. The glider that Kotori and I were ran down the runway. Over mere seconds, the enormous white wings spread open and we left the ground to soar high in the sky. We have been properly disengaged from the tow line, but you should physically turn and confirm with your eyes. The winch pulled the glider, which was attached to the long rope, also connected by the hook at the bottom of their glider. When the disengagement lever is pulled, the hook disconnects. We already know this, obviously. If the glider does not properly disconnect from the hook, then a major accident can occur. The winch is designed to have the glider pass over it, wherein which the hook will automatically disconnect from the winch. It's a system, but it isn't perfect.
平行策の離脱を確認。
The tow line has been disconnected. Kotori visually confirmed the falling parachute. Excellent. Takeoff was a success. So today, for starters, we are going to cover basic operation principles.
はい。
Alright. I explained the glider's basic operations to Kotori, from normal turning to quick turns and important points therein. For normal glider flight, there was a few operations that needed to be remembered. The only complicated procedures are during takeoff and landing. After that, there were spins and stalls and other proceeds necessary to avoid accidents. If you can't keep a straight head, then you can't do the techniques, but for today, the precautions were all I wanted her to remember. Alright, give it a try.
はい。左旋回行きます。
Okay, turning counterclockwise. Kotori squeezed the levers which operate the yoke and rudder. Relaxed, I kept a hand on the yoke. The glider banked to the left and started turning. We're sliding inwards. Apply more pressure to the rudder. Kotori was applying enough pressure, but it was a habit of mine to give a little more in this instance. Sliding inwards meant that the nose is facing outwards of the side you are banking on. Just now, the glider was banking left. As we bank left, the nose should face the same side you are banking on to make a turn. If you don't keep the nose of the glider in the direction you travel, you will lose the necessary lifting power and lose altitude. Kotori pulled back the lever which operated the rudder. The nose of the plane turned inward. When the glider gained equilibrium, it smoothly sailed left. You can really see the yaw string. The yaw string is like the tail of a worm attached to the front of the canopy that shows the wind flow. It is an extremely simple but useful tool made from the length of woven wool. The yaw string is proof that the glider is turning left or right. With this single piece of thread, you can know whether the glider is slipping to the outside or the inside of a turn. While turning, if you looked at your yaw string, you would see it spinning in perfect equilibrium. If the yaw string is curved, you apply pressure to the rudder in the opposite direction. Okay, let's turn counterclockwise.
Hi.
Alright. While checking the yaw string, Kotori operated the yoke and rudder. The glider sailed left, this time turning smooth in equilibrium. Yeah, they're flying.
皆さん、アイスを買ってきたのでどうぞ。
I like how even Yoru is wearing down. She's not nearly as crotchety as she used to be. Everyone, I brought ice cream. Come and get it.
ああ、ヨルちゃん気が利くね。
Yoru certainly is thoughtful, isn't she?
やったー、アイスだ。
Ice cream.
どう、姉さん。
So how's it going?
まだ飛んでるよ、小鳥先輩。よくわからないけど、初めてじゃないみたいに上手。
Kotori's still flying. I'm not an expert or anything, but this doesn't seem like her first time.
小鳥はすごいな。もう私よりうまいぞ。
Kotori's amazing. She's even better than me.
あの子、もともと運動神経はいいみたいだし、それに
That girl has had amazing motor reflexes from the start, and even more.
シミュレーターをかなりやり込んでたものね。
She quite thoroughly played the simulator, too.
知ってたんだ。
I know.
偶然見ちゃっただけです。秘密基地でコソコソしてるから何してるのかと思って。
I kind of saw by accident. I wanted to know what was going on, so I kind of snuck into the secret base.
努力してる姿を人に見せない小鳥先輩、かっけーです。
People don't see the hard-working Kotori like this, but she's cool.
単に張り切ってるのバレるのが恥ずかしかっただけだと思うけど。
That level of enthusiasm has to be embarrassing.
でも小鳥が努力家なのは間違いないわね。
But there's no doubt about it, Kotori is a hard-working person. Kotori's aviation training continued. Gradually, altitude was lost, however, there was still plenty of allowance space to fly. Thanks to Kotori, who kept the altitude lost to a minimum. The glider, for an instant, glided unsteadily without air.
何？今の。
What was that just now? It was probably a thermal. If we fly in those, we need to go higher.
了解。
Got it. Kotori flew the glider around and around, searching for good patches of air like they flew in before. Ah, found one.
あった、サーマル。
A thermal. That was the heart of a thermal. When you find one of those, you should use a small turning radius as much as possible. In a lazy figure-8 pattern, Kotori flew as she searched for the heart of the thermal. Suddenly, the glider noticeably gained altitude.
あった、あそこね。
Ah, got it. Over there, a thermal. Kotori, who found the heart, took the yoke and quickly tried to turn it. Whoa! The glider pivoted and turned in a deeper banking angle. As we were turning sideways, we were assaulted with the strong G-force. It felt as if all of our blood went to one side. We could lose consciousness. When you're not controlling the glider, the unpredictable G-force can be a killer. Remember that when you're flying. Hey, when you're circling, be more gentle.
ごめん。
Right, sorry. Kotori loosened up on the yoke. When gently banking the glider, G-force becomes less aggressive.
今のダメだった？
So just now was bad? Let's look at the barometer. Even though the glider should be entering the thermal's heart, we were actually falling. When you bank deeply, the falling ratio should also be high. While checking the strength of the core, you should try and find the perfect turning radius. If the turning radius is small and the banking is deep, the glider will lose altitude. Furthermore, to reascend, you have to find a strong thermal. Ideal conditions are banking somewhat deeply in the heart of a strong thermal, however, there are limitations. If that's not the case and your banking is shallow, you must reduce altitude.
要は臨機応変ってことね。
Meaning you have to play it by ear, right? Yeah, but just to stay in the heart of the thermal, it would be stupid to make a quick turn. Even if you are in the heart of a strong upwind, but banking deeply, the glider cannot be carried upwards. Furthermore, the continuous G-force will quickly make you lose consciousness.
だって今すぐもっと高く飛びたいんだもん。
But soon I want to fly higher. Kotori said this as if she really couldn't wait. Seriously, you are an evil Knievel, aren't you? Regardless, it was a good-looking turn.
本当？
Really? Although we saw the yaw train, the glider was barely gliding. At first glance, it wouldn't seem like it, but in reality, it was perfectly balanced and a beautiful turn. Altitude loss was also kept at a minimum. You don't have to rush. It's good if you can climb slowly. Okay. Kotori replied merrily, then banked appropriately to take the glider higher.
くるくる回ってる。
They're flying round and around.
サーマルを捕まえたのね。
They caught a thermal.
おお、あんなに高く。見ているだけで怖いぞ。
Wow, they're that high? It's scary just looking at it.
初フライトで張り切りすぎじゃないかしら。ちょっと葵、聞こえる？
Let's see. They must be thrilled with their first flight. I wonder. Hey, Ai, can you hear us any? What, Agaha?
上がりすぎじゃないの？
Aren't you flying too high? We found a great thermal. It's okay. We're following it.
ならいいけど。小鳥、あんまり無茶するんじゃないわよ。
That's great, but Kotori isn't being unreasonable? It's just like I said, it's fun.
わかった。
Okay, I understand. The concentrated voice came back. Kotori, who was riding the thermal, did so with complete concentration. I saw the scenery on the ground fading away and was honestly surprised. I was practically nothing left to teach. Finally, all basic operations are practically perfect. To say she wasn't fast wouldn't be true, I guess. I'm just kind of guessing on that one. No matter how many times you are in the simulator and real flying are not the same thing. But Kotori quickly came to trust her intuition and was able to find the unseen thermals and take the glider higher. Flying on a glider, no, the sense of flying in a glider might be the most amazing thing ever.
空が近づいてきた。
We've touched the sky. While gazing at the other side of the canopy, Kotori muttered. The glider steadily climbed higher. The thermal is a good one, but quite strong. There's quite a bit of crosswinds right now. We should be careful. I explained as Kotori looked down.
こんなに高い。地上の景色が霞んで、なんだか現実の景色じゃないみたい。
Wow, we are really high up. The scenery from above ground is hazy and somewhat surreal. That's because we're twice as high up as Tokyo Tower right now. Right now, our altitude is approximately 700 meters. It was a good thermal, and it was Kotori's first time at this height.
風車の丘ってあんな形してたのね。まるで三日月みたい。
Windmill Hill kind of has a shape, doesn't it? Circular, like a crescent moon. Windmill Hill is almost directly below us. At this height, we had a near unbroken view. The hill ran semicircular alongside the lake. That shape stops the wind blowing across the sea. The force builds and runs up the hill, causing the windmills to turn. The wind comes off the lake and stops where the half-moon lake ends. When that happens, the collective strength of the wind runs up the hill. The windmills were built there because of this phenomenon.
気持ちいいね。飛ぶのって。
This is amazing, the feeling of flying. Kotori sighed softly for a moment.
すごく自由な感じ。足のことなんて忘れちゃいそう。
This is the feeling of freedom, and my legs, it's like I've forgotten all about them. Even though we are flying in the air, Kotori doesn't need her legs. Only in times like these could I truly seem to feel free. I knew it. Kotori, rather than letting somebody fly you, flying yourself suits you. Kotori thought about it a little before answering.
そうかも。
That might be so.
私、小鳥って名前でしょ。小さい頃からなんとなくいつも空を見上げてたの。
My name...
飛んでみたいなって思いながら。
Sorry, too fast. My name is Kotori, right? For no particular reason, ever since I was young, I have always wanted to fly. To think I'm flying now.
まさか叶うなんて思ってなかったけど。
Who would have thought? Dreams can come true. My name, well, my father named me. His hobby was photography. He would often take pictures of the sky. On the day that I was born, the skies were a bright blue, so he named me Aoi, or so he says.
へえ。じゃあここは葵くんの故郷みたいなもんだね。
Really? So this place is like your hometown? So we're kind of the same. That's adorable. During that embarrassing exchange, we laughed as we answered. Now that you mention it, when I heard how I got my name, it was a clear blue day too. It had that special feel to it. Well, after that, I learned that character for my name, Aoi, actually refers to a greenish-blue color. It kind of disappointed me.
空の上って気持ちいい。ずっと飛んでいられたらいいのに。
The feeling of being high in the heavens, constantly flying around. Being in the glider, unbound by gravity, soaring through the sky, created an odd feeling. I saw Kotori's profile on the canopy. She gazed out, and I thought she looked like a being from a faraway place. That was negligent. Always pay attention to the conditions of the atmosphere pressure. Don't forget. If you don't, you'll fall.
Hi.
Understood. With a strong answer, Kotori gripped the yoke firmly. I wouldn't give her undue fear either, though. Like, there's a balance, I think.
こっち片付け完了しました。
We just finished cleaning up over here.
お疲れさー。今日はこれでおしまいね。
Good job, everyone. That's a day. We flew until sunset and then left the field. Between maintained and rest days, we got in 5 flights. I don't know what that means necessarily, but they got 5 flights over a certain amount of days. Got it.
今日は1回のフライトが長かったよね。
That was one really long flight today. There certainly was some great thermals. It was the ideal soaring conditions. The best way to progress is to fly as much as possible. Because the flying times are restricted, it's best to be in the sky as long as possible. Today, Kotori certainly improved, even in her takeoff and landings.
小鳥は本当にすごいな。同じ人間とは思えないぞ。
Kotori really is an amazing person. You can't say that about everyone. Amane was quite impressed with today. All thanks go to the cockpit that Amane designed for us.
うん。役に立ってよかった。
I would have said that you designed for us, but whatever. Glad it helped. By the way, where did she go?
あの人なら外にいたわよ。片付けサボってぼーっとしてた。
If you're talking about her, she left to daydream rather than help clean up. Asa stepped out for a minute and told us.
今日はもう終わりだって言ってきて。
I was about to say that is Yoru, not Asa. So Yoru stepped out and said that. I was about to say that's a very mean thing for Asa to say. I just came to say that we're done for the day. Okay. When we left our secret base, Kotori momentarily gazed into the evening sky. Oh, what were you doing?
体が揺れてるように感じるの。まだ空の上にいるみたい。
My body felt like it had started to shake, like as if it were still in the sky. This is the top of the hill. From here, if you looked just right, it would seem like you were in the air flying. Even though this was your first flight, you got a considerable amount of flight time in. Kotori looked up into the sky. She seemed to yearn completely for the sky.
どうしよう。私、明日からもう普通じゃいられないかも。
What should I do? From today, nothing will be the same again.
だって、こんなに楽しいことをしちゃって。頭の中が空っぽになっちゃったみたい。
It's great to be able to experience such amazing things, but I think my head will always be in the clouds now. I was just like that on the day of my first flight. Living with your feet on the ground even felt annoying. It would be amazing if I could fly again and again and again. And with that goal in mind, I spent a whole year preparing. Right. The sky was a daytime. The sky was a. I mean, it's not a daytime blue because it's dark. Whatever. The sky was full of countless twinkling stars. Forget the color for a minute. Kotori's eyes shone like the stars as she shone like the stars as she gazed in love at the sky. Oh, that's adorable. We're having moments. I want to get to Amane, man. Like, and it's fine. It's just, you know, it's not what I expected. A day near the end of August. More time lapse. At the start of summer vacation, nearly half of Flying Fish's Manor residents leave. It had been a while since the building has been this crowded. The vegetables are all cut.
こっちもできたわ。
All finished here too.
鍋煮えてるわよ。次どうするの？
The water's boiling. What should I do next?
これオーブンに入れて焼くのよね。何分くらい？
Those. Could you throw those in the oven to bake? Let's see. For how long? Everyone was asking for my instructions all at once. I felt like a master chef. Put the cut vegetables into the boiling water. Cover the pot and let it boil for around 10 minutes. Wait a minute on baking that. Bake it together with these. While snapping instructions on the fly, I myself had a job to do. It had been a long time since I prepared dinner for such a large number of people.
私は何をすればいいかな？
What can I do to help? Hey, Mane, could you come over here and check out the TV?
危ないから包丁持っちゃダメよ。かな？あまねちゃんのお守りよろしく。
Because Amane plus knife equals dangerous. Take care of him, Aoi.
はいよ。望月先輩、こっちで一緒にテレビ見ましょう。
I think it was probably not take care of him, Aoi. It was probably take care of her, Kaneko. That's probably what they meant there. Anyway, morning, Amane. Shall we go over there and watch some TV?
私も何かしたいのに。
But I wanted to help. Even though she really did want to help, Kaneko dragged Amane in front of the TV. People and food, the heat and the fire from the oven and stove mixed together, it seemed like a war zone. Why does it suddenly feel like this?
ついに合宿だよ、ヨルちゃん。ワクワクだね。
We're finally living together, Yoru. It's so exciting. What do you mean you've always lived with Yoru?
別にいつもと変わらないと思うんだけど。自分の部屋で寝るんでしょ？
I guess. I don't see how things are really going to change. I mean, you always sleep in my room anyways, right? Today's the first day back at the Soaring Club's dormitory. However, the truth is that nothing really changes that much. Agaha still stays at her family's home, and Amane still comes here for free food. This is what dorm life is about. And just like last year, there is early morning watch duty. By the end of summer, a morning glory will make an appearance. At least they hope so. They don't actually know that. It wouldn't be strange for it to appear any time now. To be on watch duty meant that you had to stay overnight at the secret base and watch for even the slightest change in weather. I prepared dinner earlier than usual to try taking advantage of having everyone gathered. Immediately from tonight, we will have a meeting. Alright, finished.
美味しそうな料理がたくさん。
Ah, so earlier when Kaneko said good morning, she meant like evening, not morning. Anyway, oh wow, there's so much delicious looking food. Come over here and help me bring it to the table.
Hi.
Sure. The food that everyone prepared was carried to the table. The sight of so much hearty food on platters seemed to put everyone in good spirits.
久しぶりの葵くんのご飯だ。
It's been a while since I've had Aoi's cooking.
お腹すいたよ。もう食べていい？
I'm starving. Can we start eating? Before we start, the leader has a few things she'd like to say. Kotori cleared her throat with authority.
皆さん、この1年本当にご苦労様でした。
Hello everyone. I would like to thank everyone for their hard work throughout the year.
いよいよ私たちの目標であり夢でもあるモーニンググローリーを飛ぶ日が近づいてきています。
More and more, our goal and our dream draws close. The day we fly alongside a morning glory.
本番は一度きり、失敗は許されません。夏が終わるまでの間、気合を入れて絶対に失敗しないよ。
This season, we have but one chance. Failure will not be tolerated. Until summer is finished, let's stay on fire and without fail, make no mistakes.
長いぞ、小鳥。
That was a long one, Kotori.
もうお腹ペコペコだよ。
I gotta eat. She said like 2 sentences.
ねえ、私スワリング部じゃないし、先に食べてていいかな。
I'm not a member of the soaring club. Is it okay if I started eating?
こいつら。
You guys. Come on, seriously, the food's gonna get cold.
わーったわよ。美味しいものお腹いっぱい食べて気合い入れていくわよ。
There's so much delicious looking food. Eat until your heart's content and call out your fighting spirit.
ああ。
Yeah. There'll be a lot of this going around, I'm sure.
いただきまーす。
At once, everyone scrambled to take food.
たくも気分台無しだわ。
Seriously, the mood was just killed. Well, when you go out with all guns blazing, it's hard to keep the momentum up until the end.
そんなことないもん。私は最後の一兵になっても戦うわ。
No, it's not like that at all. It's like I'm the last soldier standing. I'm not sure exactly what I'm off to fight, but I'm going in with a greater fighting spirit. Since I flew the glider the other day, my motivation has been boundless, but wasted. Over the past few days, from dawn till dusk, I have been practicing flying. I've kept my exhaustion hidden, however, my improvement in flying is physically visible.
あの綺麗な雲がまた見られるんですよね。
Very soon, we are going to be able to see the beautiful looking cloud.
そういや、朝ちゃんは去年の雲を風車の丘から見てたんだっけ？
That reminds me, Asa, it was you that saw the cloud from Windmill Hill, right?
はい、すごく綺麗でした。あの雲も空を飛ぶグライダーも。
Yes, it was absolutely beautiful. The cloud and the sky the glider flew in too.
でもあれよりもすごいんですよね。
What could be cooler than that?
あれは厳密にはモーニンググローリーとは呼べないものだったからね。
That was close to morning glory, but I still wouldn't call it so. Amane makes a beautiful mess eating as she speaks.
あまねちゃん、食べるか喋るかどっちかにして。
Hey, Amane, are you gonna eat or are you gonna talk?
あれこそが今年の夏に本物のモーニンググローリーが来る予兆だったんだ。
Well, that was a sign that a true morning glory could come this year. Today we heard that last year's cloud sighting could very well be a sign that this year a real morning glory was indeed coming. The story goes back a few hours ago.
以上のデータが私の推論の根拠だ。
This data is the basis of my reasoning. The computer screen showed the variety of data types Amane referred to.
つまり
And this all means...
この夏の終わりに モーニンググローリーが発生する可能性は非常に高い。
It means that at the end of summer, there is an extremely high possibility that a morning glory will form. Amane's words brought a quiet tension and excitement to the room. I listened to Amane's speech and believed that it was sound logic.
質問いいでしょうか。
Is it alright if I ask a question?
なんだい？
Shoot.
可能性が高いというのはどのくらいなんでしょうか。
When you say there's a high possibility, how high are we talking about?
そうだな。詳細な数字までは言えないが、大雑把に計算しておよそ 30% ってところじゃないかな。
High possibility of 30%. Right, so high possibility. We couldn't say in exact numbers, but a rough calculation would be around 30%.
引く！ちょっとそれのどこが高いのよ。
How is that possibly a high possibility?
全く起こらないのが普通だとしたら、随分と高い方なんじゃないかしら。
Completely not happening is the regular stat. Considering that, wouldn't you agree that 30% is pretty high? It was just as Yoru said. The phenomenon known as morning glory occurs but once in a few decades.
でもそれだとむしろ大安売りってことじゃない？去年にも規模は小さいものの出現してるわけで。
Well, if that's the case, this is rather amazing, isn't it? Even after last year's small sighting was an exceptional appearance.
私と葵くんがフライトした1年前のあの雲は厳密にはモーニンググローリーとは呼べない。
Last year, Aoi and I flew and saw this cloud, and it wasn't even close to being called a morning glory.
じゃあ何なの？
Okay, so what was it?
ただの出来損ないだ。
Just a regular cloud.
だがそれも推論の根拠となっている。これを見てほしい。
But still, this is the basis for my reasoning. Here, look at these. Amane took the mouse and brought up more data to the screen. We just received the project data from the newly constructed windmills. The data showed detailed weather data around the area collected over the past few months. Amane analyzed the numbers and just recently came to new conclusions. The current display showed two types of data.
これが去年のあの雲が現れた日のデータで、こっちが28年前の8月26日のデータだ。
Here is the data from last year's cloud sighting, and this here is from the 26th of August 28 years ago. From August 26, 28 years ago, a completely unknown date. The data taken from two completely different dates truly resemble each other.
似てるわね。どういうこと？
They really do look alike, don't they? But what does it mean?
はっきりとした記録はないが、この日、モーニンググローリーの出来損ないが風ヶ浦で発生していたらしいんだ。
We don't have complete records, but last year's wannabe Morning Glory's data resembles this here.
どういうことですか？
Meaning...
つまり、出来損ないの雲が現れた翌年に、本物のモーニンググローリーが現れる可能性が高い。
Meaning in some...
と言いたいんでしょ？
Sorry, she had a very long pause there. Anyway, meaning in summary, during the next year, following the wannabe cloud's formation, a true Morning Glory was formed. So it's possible to say that a true formation could happen this year too, right? She nodded. Our eyes devoured the information on the screen. At first glance, no matter how much we stared at them, the lists of numbers were meaningless and we could make no sense of them, but Amane's speech won us over. This data reflected one year, and it finally was starting to look significant. Ah, yes, it's a pattern.
それって夏の終わりじゃなきゃ発生しないものなんですか？
So you're saying that if a morning glory does not appear by the end of the summer, then it's not going to happen at all?
それはほぼ間違いない。発生のメカニズムは先ほど説明した通り、湖上空の水蒸気に筑波山に遮られていた湿った空気が流れ込み、
There's practically no doubt about it. As I explained earlier, the conditions involved to form such a cloud. The cool air runs off the lake and is blocked by the hill, the moisture flows into the atmosphere, and...
それはもう分かったから。
I understand that part, but... Amane began once again to explain things from the beginning. Kotori held back her confusion. Sometimes such complex explanations just weren't good to hear. Sometimes you just need to know the principles and the results. Maybe like most of the time, I would say. Like, all this explanation hurts my brain.
いよいよってわけね。
Which is all more the reason. Ah, the payback for that day. I could not deny a fearless smile forming on my mouth. Ah, yes, that's why. Now we know. Amane's explanation was the spark that set fire to my motivation. I was ready for action. The problem lies with the flight plan. We must revise Amane's data. As everyone questioned Amane, I sat and considered the factors.
去年私と葵くんが飛んだあの雲はだいたい上空 1km あたりに現れていた。
Last year, the cloud that Aoi and I flew about appeared approximately 1 kilometer high.
けど OB の高校日誌によると27年前のモーニンググローリーは上空 2km。
I don't know who the heck Old Boy is, but according to the old navigation journal, the morning glory that appeared 27 years ago was at 2 kilometers. Wow, that's pretty high.
さらに 1km 高く飛ばないといけないのか。
Well, okay, that sounds high. I have no idea how far a kilometer is, but that sounds really high. Anyway, we can't fly up to 1 kilometer, can we? Agaha rubbed her chin as she thought. 2 kilometers is somewhat low for a cloud. Since we are using a winch system to fly, we have yet to experience flying at that altitude.
せめて飛行機があったらな。
If we had a plan, we could do it.
そんな高さまで上がれるサーマルなんてあるの？
Are we able to fly to those heights? Are there thermals? There should be, but I thought about it for a minute. The problem is, should a morning glory form, it would do so around dawn.
どういうこと？
What does that mean?
サーマルがほとんどないんだ。
It means that the thermals are few and far between.
夜の間に地表は冷やされて温まるまでに時間がかかる。
It takes time for the nighttime air to warm up again.
けれど日の出を待ってそれからのんびり上がったんじゃ間に合わない。
If we leisurely waited until sunrise, we would already be too late. You need sunlight to warm up surface ground. Without the heat from the ground surface, thermals can't be formed. I listened to Amane's explanation with a nod and added a few words. If possible, you'll want to start flying before sunrise while it's still dim.
でもそれじゃあサーマルを見つけるのは難しいと。逆に湖の上にならサーマルがあるんじゃないかな。
But it would be hard to find thermals. On the other hand, there are thermals above the lake, aren't there? The way heat is transferred is between land and water. Land easily heats and cools, but with water it's more difficult. During the day, the ground temperature is cooler than over lakes and seas, creating a gentle downdraft. But at night, the opposite occurs. The ground cools first, and the air above the not quite cool lake sends air currents upwards. Well, that would probably be difficult. It's different in the middle of the night, but at sunrise it is also expected to be chilled.
だよね。
That says it all. Of course, with us, we only have one flying technique. We learned a lot from our mistakes last year. This time, we have to create a good flight plan. Up until now, we've talked about it countless times. However, now with the new data, we can come up with something a little more solid. With a sidelong glance, Asa sighed as she opened her mouth.
けど発生しない確率の方が高いわけよね。
I'm assuming again it wasn't Asa but Yoru is what that one meant. Anyway, meaning the likelihood of us not taking off is high, right?
それなのにそんなに張り切っちゃって。肩透かしだった時大丈夫なの？
Now's not the time to dodge questions. Is it right? She said all right, but I think she means right.
その時はその時よ。来年かまた再来年にでもチャレンジすればいいわ。
This makes no sense, but I'm gonna have to try and make up what I think they're probably meaning. That was then and this is now. It's good to have a challenge for next year and the year after. But if the cloud comes this year, it's absolutely impossible to run away from it. I put strong force into my words, to which Kotori and Agaha nodded. The two of us cannot forget last year's frustration.
そうしてまた超留年生が生まれるのね。ソアリング部の伝統として受け継がれていくのかも。
And so, once again, the traditions of the Soaring Club are being handed down from one generation of students to the next.
そんなのあまねちゃんだけで十分。
That sounds like Amane.
私らもさすがにそこまではね。
I wouldn't go that far.
いいじゃないか。人よりたくさん学生生活ができて男だぞ。
Well, isn't that nice? It's more than most people get out of a college student life. Kotori made a firm fist.
あまねちゃんのようにならないためにも一発で決めるわよ。
Like Amane said, we've got one shot. Let's do it. Agaha and I, with serious facial expressions, nodded in agreement. My God.
ところで誰が乗るんですか？
By the way, who's gonna fly?
だってあのグライダー2人乗りですよね。
That glider can only hold 2 people. Asa innocently asked the question, popped in all of our heads, but none of us could make the words come out of our mouths. Well, obviously, Aoi, right? I realize, Kotori wants to fly, but Aoi is the pilot. You know what I mean? We looked at each other, and then at practically the same time, we all gazed at Amane.
私は乗らないぞ。上空 2km なんて想像しただけで怖いからな。
Me? I'm not flying. Flying at kilometers is beyond my imagination and scary.
あまねちゃんは本当にそれでいいの？あの日届かなかった場所に今度こそ行けるかもしれないのよ。
Is it really okay with you, Amane? When the time comes, you might be able to do it. Amane easily shook her head.
言っただろ。私がここでこうしているのは君たちを手伝うためだって。
I said so, didn't I? I told you, I'll help you guys from here, understand? When she says it straight like that, it tends to sound kind of sad. For the senior students, the glider is a thing of the past. That is sad.
まあそれはおいおい考えればいいんじゃない？それより今はどうやって上がるかよ。
Wait a minute. Shouldn't we think this through? More importantly, right now, how are we going to get the glider up? That's right, for the time being, we don't even have a flight plan. Everyone ate while discussing ideas. The argument became increasingly more heated. Let's not get all pissed off about it, like we're all a team here. Calm down. Bath is open. I walked into the dining hall as I towel-dried my hair. The usual crowd already came and went. I usually was the last to take a bath. Today I went in first. Everyone was hanging out at our normal table. What?
姉さん、ババを引いたわね。
Sis, you're just asking for Dad's attention.
そんなことないよ。全然そんなことないよ。
Come on, I am not. Absolutely not.
朝ちゃんは素直でわかりやすいの。
Asa is upfront and easy to understand. Did Amane already head home?
お腹いっぱいになったからって。葵にごちそうさま言っといてってさ。
She said she was full and said to tell you thanks for the food.
あまね先輩が食いしん坊でよかったよね。おかげでこうして遊びに来てくれるもん。
Amane is such a glutton for food. Thanks to everyone, we could all drag her out of her cave. I'm assuming that's what that means. If that wasn't the case, I would just be a babysitter composing poorly written emails. I don't get that. If is that a reference? I don't get that. Woo for gluttons. And Kotori?
部屋でこそ練してんじゃないかな。
I'm guessing she's probably in her room practicing. Simulator? The other day, Kotori borrowed Hibari's laptop. She had been using it to practice on the simulator in her room. Unfortunately, people don't see Kotori's hard work as a virtue. Rather, they see her as being antisocial and too good. Everyone calls it secret practicing.
私呼んできましょうか。
Should I go get her? No, it's cool. We shouldn't bother her.
でも、葵先輩もう行っちゃうんですよね。
But if it's you, Aoi, then I'm not saying we shouldn't meet her at all, just for the time being. Well, it would be nice to see her some. Right, I'm gonna go get ready. Alright, is this morning or night? I'm a little confused on the timetable. I'm assuming it's right after dinner, more or less.
喉乾いた。
Whew, I'm thirsty.
お、やっと出てきた。
Wow, look who decided to join us.
あんた、まだいたんだ。あまねちゃんはもう帰ったの？
You guys are still here? Did Amane already go home?
帰ったよ。でもって私もそろそろ帰るところ。
Yeah, she left. I guess it's about time for me to head out too.
さ、気をつけてね。
Oh, take care.
葵ならもう出てったわよ。
If you're looking for Aoi, he already left.
嘘、もうこんな時間？
What? No way, at this hour?
彼氏ほっぽり出してシミュレーターに夢中とは。さすが空に片思いしてる女ね。
Uh-huh. Somebody's neglecting her boyfriend in favor of a simulator. Who else would you expect from the woman who actually is in love with the sky?
いってらっしゃい言いたかったのに。
Aw, I wanted to wish him well. Where the hell's he going? Stargaze? There really is a great view of the sky from here. Is he camping? While climbing up the slanted surface of Windmill Hill, I gazed at the starry sky that spread along the hill. It was clear today, giving a great view of the stars. On top of that, from Windmill Hill, there are a few obstructions to block the view. Last year, the same sheet-covered glider was placed on the runway. From the secret base, the view is better than that from Flying Fish Manor's garden. Where the change in atmosphere came from, I don't know. You have to catch it within a second's time. I'm doing the watch alone. However, in this remote location, it isn't safe to have one girl sitting here, so the shift is done in pairs. I drop off and pick them up here, but having seen two people here during the night is worrying. Nothing but solar panels and windmills in this sprawling space, as if neither human nor machine no longer touch this land. Inside my pocket, my cell phone chimed. Got a text. It was from Kotori. I'm sorry I got self-absorbed in my room. I just want to say to have a good night and take care. It was the kind of text that makes the heart go fuzzy. I didn't realize it, but it seemed that I was lonely. Tomorrow morning, I'll get up early and wait for you. Good night. Little laugh. Finally, a small smile escaped my lips. Who would have thought something like this is nice? I don't think that was one sentence. It was like, who would have thought something like this is nice, or whatever. Anyway, there were no words to truly describe it. Reading the text gave me a strange but relieving feeling. Aw, that's adorable. Oh, that's adorable. I got a text from Aoi. Thanks for your message. You are working hard on practicing, right? Why is it that practicing is considered impolite behavior? There's also aviation practice tomorrow, so there's no reason to overdo it. Get some rest. If you go home, could you help get breakfast ready? I love you. Good night. He said I love you. Good night, Aoi. Aww. Alright, time to get ready for bed for a bright tomorrow. But before that, I should text him and tell him I love you too. You absolutely should. It's a two-way street. No one wants to have one side flying around. Ow, Ageha! Mamba, what the heck you doing here? And Akari? Anyway, look at that, it's Akari! In casual. Interesting. Geez, you're such a baby, and so is Akari. Hey Ageha, as promised, here is the inspection. Hello, sorry for making you wait. Take as long as you need to look through it. By the way, where is this glider at? Right now it's in the middle of it's in the middle of a practice run, probably high in the sky. I don't know why she says ouch. She doesn't look like she's in pain, so I don't know what that's about. I'm assuming that's a translation error of some kind. Where at? Here, use these binoculars. Thanks. I wonder where it's at. Oh, look, down under that long, thin cloud. The sun is reflecting on the wing. Can you see it? Ah, there. The light just reflected. That's it? It's the first time I've seen the glider in flight. It's pretty amazing being that high up. Theoretically, Sorry, too quick. Theoretically, it depends on the sky. Sometimes you can go above the clouds. Wow, really? It flies great, and there really isn't an engine. There really isn't an engine, right? Who's the pilot? Kotori. And Aoi? Even though she's flying, she doesn't need the use of her legs. Aoi's up there too, teaching her how to fly. I see. Ah. Wait, that's dangerous, right? Spinning in circles while falling like that? What is happening? The glider fell towards the ground, spinning in a corkscrew. The field of vision spins and the sense of balance is lost. As you turn the screw to the outer side, you experience G-force. Don't lose your grip on things, deal with the G-force. If you can do it like I taught you, you can do it. First, put the flaps in neutral. Okay. Kotori put the yoke in neutral. Kotori, rotate the yoke in the opposite direction of the glider's spin. Before I started instructing her, Kotori already steered in the direction opposite from the rudder. Immediately, the yoke turned towards the direction it did before. Try not to lose the nose fall too much. The main wings need to take the lifting power back. Okay. Finally, when the nose of the glider felt just right, and the wings were able to stream airflow, regular flight was restored. They were practicing, basically. They weren't actually dying or anything. When you placed the rudder in neutral, it was as if nothing at all happened when we flew like normal. Great recovery. When normality returned, Kotori took a look at the outside landscape and sighed deeply in relief. We didn't just almost avoid an accident. I had intentionally let the glider spin. We had just been practicing spin recover tactics. We didn't lose practically any altitude. Great flying, Kotori. Wow, that really is more I don't know, worrying than our normal stall. I know what that word is, I just can't pronounce it because I'm, stutter. Flustering? That just sounds weird. I mean, I get being flustered. I've never heard of flustering, but whatever. I'm sure it's correct, it's just me. Anyway, to stall means that the main wings lose connection. We know what a stall is. Without lifting power, the glider will fall. However, if you know the right procedures, you can recover from a stall. For the sake of study, you need to create a stall situation in practice. The most important thing concerning a glider pilot is to have that practice. Just as right now, spin and stall procedures, even in practice, are still quite vicious. A spin is when the body of a plane turns like a screw while falling. In a worst-case scenario situation, a weak point in the frame of the body could be lost, forcing the pilot to parachute. Compared to the response time, you dealt with the procedures very wisely. Were you scared? No, not really. I kept the image of recovery locked in my mind. I see. During a stall, a pilot becomes confused. While spinning, the pilot experiences the sensation of falling, and it's a pretty scary feeling. It's natural to become flustered with your only thought being, I gotta get control. However, in that confusion, should the pilot perform the wrong maneuver, they could worsen the situation into the most horrible of circumstances. Kotori didn't lose confidence or her calm control in this scenario and recovered quickly. She had such a level head for her first recovery. The first time I practiced this maneuver, I remember losing my calm pretty quickly. For some reason or another, I was just able to feel it out. But don't get cocky. During stalls and spins, if you forget the fear, your ability to react might be slow. When talking about stalls, there are two types of practice. The first regards how to recover. The second is about teaching the body signs to tell it when it is about to stall or spin. There are several signs. More importantly than reading the meters is understanding the feel of flying. In this case, the body's introduced to the feel of G-force. Once experienced, the body will remember the sensation enough to prompt the pilot into taking measures to prevent a stall. The experience of recovery, of course, is also important. Thanks to practices like this, I think Amane and I escaped from harm. At that time, just seeing it would give you chills. There was an extreme downdraft. A year ago, we experienced a strong downdraft. We suddenly lost flight power and fell. We were so absorbed in the moment that it seemed the glider fixed itself upright. To think it was due to mastering these skills in practice, I think, is actually what he said. Alright, let's find the thermal again and take up to the sky. Alright, to continue practicing recoveries, we had to make a good enough height to fall safely. I see, so they are doing it intentionally. They are in recovery training. They're doing some pretty dangerous maneuvers. Don't worry about it. If need be, I can take over. Of course, when flying in the sky, there is nothing more dangerous. Huh? Those guys aren't coming down. They're going up one more time to do it again, right? I guess we don't have much time left. Wonder what exactly that means. According to Amane's predictions, there's a good chance that a morning glory will appear within the next 10 days.
Morning glory?
A morning glory? A long cylindrical cloud that forms that will span across the lake. It's our goal to fly with that cloud.
あの不思議な雲のことね。
Amane has a picture board covered with images of that strange cloud.
小鳥にその気があるならあの子をメインパイロットにして飛ばせてやってもいいんじゃないかって葵たちとも話してるんです。
If Kotori is so into flying, then she should be the main pilot. I'll talk with Aoi.
本人にはまだ内緒なんですけど
Who's the pilot should be kept a secret.
まずはみっちりしごいて本当に小鳥でいけるのか見極めないと。
Firstly, it should be someone who worked very hard, and Kotori certainly did a lot.
そう。それにしても変わったわね、ハバネさん。慶風学園に入学してきた頃から随分と。
That's true, but there's no reason to change out Kotori. She's been enrolled in Keifu Academy for quite a while now.
そんな頃から知ってるんですか？
Have you known her since the beginning?
ええ、もちろんよ。足の不自由な生徒が入学してくると聞いて気にかけていたのよ。
Of course, we were all concerned when we heard about a student that was disabled.
さすが生徒会長になるために生まれてきたお人だわ。
Of course, the person born to become the head of the student council.
まあ同じ学年で知らないやつはいなかったけどな。態度超悪いって有名だったもんな。
Well, I don't know any students with a bad attitude from within the same class.
だよね。2年で同じクラスになった時はどうしてやろうかと。
When we were sophomores, it was like, why even bother?
どうした？誰だあれ？こっち来るぞ。
What? Who's coming here?
あれって
I just from watching lots of anime, I think is what that line is, and it said "arg," but I don't think that's what she was saying there. Anyway, Kotori inside a thermal gradually took the glider higher. We'll be good any time now.
もう少し上がれそう。もっと高く飛んでもいい？
I think we can fly a little bit higher. Is it okay? The purpose of today's training was to cover stall recovery, and there's no reason to fly higher than this. But the way Kotori asked, I couldn't say no. Sure, let's see how much higher we can go. Being able to catch a thermal to fly higher is important practice after all.
ありがとう。
Thanks. Kotori flew the glider around the updrafts until that the eyes couldn't see. Little by little, she brought the glider higher and higher. This is a place you always wanted to see, right?
入道雲って成層圏まで突き抜けてるんでしょ？
I remember learning about this cloud type when I was in school. I have no memory of how to pronounce that, and I'm not gonna try. But I remember learning about that, and when I was a little kid, I remember learning about this stuff. A very little kid. Anyway, these type of clouds break through to the stratosphere, right? They really are big, aren't they?
その中へ入れば私たちも成層圏まで飛べるのかしら？
So to be here, it means that we are also in the stratosphere. We might be able to fly up here, but this is where we should stop. Inside those clouds, the air flows in downbursts. Never mind things like thunder. We should keep the safety first. Even jumbo jets will avoid those clouds if they can. But besides us, at these heights, the sky is like an unknown world to us. I would rather stay safe and be able to go home than take the chance of being in briefly without incident.
空って高いのね。
The sky is so high. Beyond the sky is space. Kotori absently muttered space as she gazed out beyond the canopy. From her profile, she looked like a mysterious child. When Amane flew, she kept her curiosity hidden behind the shining eyes of a young girl, not boy, obviously, but Kotori gave the impression of being very young. People usually ask to have childlike feelings. About what you said before. About me, when I was gazing at the sky, you said I was really cool.
そうよ。ため息が出るくらいかっこいいわ。
Uh-huh, it's true. Cool with a sigh. Well, it's about you, Kotori. Flying in the sky like this, this is the true you.
そうかな。
This Kotori is truly the true Kotori, it seems. Kotori glanced quickly back at me to ask,
本当の私？
the true me? Yeah, I didn't know you from long ago, but this you I see, well, it's a feeling I have. When we fly like this, it warms my heart. It makes me excited. It's strange, but when we fly together, I somehow know more than before of that Kotori as my girlfriend. Seeing her facial expression that could only have been made while flying in the sky, expressions that only I can see. When I say excited, I mean I want to get to know her more. I want to see her. I want to see more.
本当の私？
The true me. Kotori muttered while thinking. I'm sorry to bring up such an odd subject during flight. Please forget about it.
一時的に忘れる。
Sure, but only temporarily. Okay, for now that's good. This time take the glider, do a spin yourself, and then set her right again.
はい。
Yes. Alright, let's do it. I instructed Kotori into a spin and she flew us. After performing so many spin maneuvers, Kotori becomes tired and it's time to land. The body from practice also had the burden of being inspected. What's necessary? I'm assuming they mean the body of the plane and no other kind of body, but I guess, hey, whatever, right? We brought the glider to its final approach towards the runway. Today, the crosswind was strong, into the runway with the nose pointing upwards.
了解
Understood. Kotori safely and acutely landed the glider on the runway. Yay. I really expected them to get, like, struck by lightning or something, so.
おかえりなさい小鳥先輩葵先輩
Kotori, Aoi, welcome back.
ただいま疲れた
I'm home. Man, I'm beat. Kotori, who had transferred from the cockpit to her wheelchair, looked completely exhausted. Well, you flew quite a bit. I was also quite tired. Training practice and the constant attention to safety still made me nervous.
おかえりなさいハバネさん
Welcome home, Kotori.
生徒会長来てたんだ
Student Council President, you came.
下から見させてもらったわあなたたちが夢中になるのもわかる気がする
I saw you flying. You guys were living your dream. I understand your feelings for flight.
でしょ
Thank you. On the ground, for who knows how long, Akari and Mabo waited.
さっきね 800 メートルくらいまで上がったのよなんなら生徒会長も後で乗ってみる
We were just at about 800 meters. Perhaps, Miss Kumoe, would you also like to try having a ride?
ええだけどその前に
Oh, sweet, bad news. All right. Well, before that, Akari, who for some reason had an unpleasant expression on her face, Agaha stuck her head out from behind.
小鳥ちょっといい
Here comes the bad news. We were due. That makes sense. Akari, can I talk to you for a moment?
何あげ
What is it, Agaha? Kotori looked behind Agaha's shoulder and was surprised to see another person standing there. Is it the big crotchety teacher guy? But she was dumbfounded when she recognized who it was.
どうして
Uh-oh.
ひばり姉が
Why? Hibari? Hibari stared at Kotori's look of disbelief. Her face turned pale and her knees began to quiver. At first I thought she was angry, but she quickly regained her composure. It was Hibari that was shaking in anger.
小鳥
I'm so confused. Kotori? She called Kotori's name with a quivering voice as she drew closer towards Kotori.
どうしてこんな
Uh-oh. What are you doing here with this? I forgot that I forgot that they hid the fact that Kotori could fly. Or that she was flying and stuff. You know what I mean? That I forgot that was a thing. What are you doing here with this?
違うのお姉ちゃんこれは
It's not what you think, Hibari. This is...
これは
This is... The explanation that Kotori wanted to give wouldn't come out.
あなたが乗っていたなんて
And doing a darn good job. What's with the drama, man? You were flying in that thing.
お願い落ち着いてひばり姉私の話を聞いて
Please, Hibari, calm down. Just listen to what I have to say. Oh my god, did she slap her? The sharp sound echoed. The people nearby immediately shrugged at the sound. It was the sound of Kotori's sister striking Kotori across the face. Wow, she literally slapped her. Wow. Dude, tell her to get lost. She's not your mother. Get out of my face. Wow. Wow. Sister.
あなたは自分がどうしてそんな体になってしまったのか忘れちゃったの
Did you forget about those legs of yours? Okay, first of all, it's her legs, for starters. Second of all, do you really think she forgot? Of course she didn't forget. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow. Hibari's tears mixed with her anguished cry. Her knees trembled and she was shook so much that she might physically collapse. It wasn't anger, but fear.
忘れてないよでもこれは気球じゃない私たちが作ったグライダー
I didn't forget, but this isn't a balloon, it's a glider, which we made.
同じよこのことをお父さんやお母さんが知ったらどうなるか
Same difference. If Mom and Dad knew, it wouldn't change anything. What?
待ってそれだけはやめてそんなことしたらお父さんたち
Wait, stop a minute. If Dad knew...
お父さんたちがどうなるか分かってて隠してたのね
I don't even know what Dad would do if he found out what you've been hiding. I mean, it's not like she was hiding, drugs or something. Man, I don't know. It's a weird world, right? Because obviously, they feel like whatever. Obviously they're reacting because they're scared for her. But, that's not a good enough reason. You know what I mean? Not to me. Like, and I can tell you, any member of my family lays a hand on me, I would not just quietly accept it. Like, seems to be normal in so much media. You know what I mean? I can just tell you that. It would end violently, because, like, no one touches me, not even my family. Not that it would come to that, because we're just not that type of people. That's never happened, like, you know, so it doesn't matter, but I'm just saying that, like, in principle, I would not just quietly take that. Like, and you know, in Kotori's case, like, it's like, you know, that, yeah, it's risky, and they're only reacting this way because they're scared for her. It's out of concern, but it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. Like, I would stand my ground. I would just stand my ground on the whole matter of it, you know? Like, yes, it's tragic, but, like, you know, but she's being trained, and there's 2 people in it, you know what I mean? Like, Aoi has a license and everything, and it's totally legal on a legal front. It's 100% legal what they're doing, you know, because Aoi has a license, he's allowed to fly, like, the whole 9. And so, you know, and they're together, so if anything goes wrong, he just takes over. So it's like, anyway, I would stand my ground. She has very solid ground to stand on, because she's backed up by Aoi, he has licensed, and I don't know, the school knows about it even. Like, I don't know, like, I would stand my ground on this front, and Hibari would never have gotten away with hitting me, I could promise you that. I'm sorry, but tell it to Dad. Wow. Hibari wouldn't hear another word. With a cold voice, Hibari wouldn't hear another word. She said that with a cold voice. That's obviously not grammatically correct, but whatever. And turned her back on Kotori and walked away. Tell her good. Tell her don't, make sure the door doesn't hit you in the ass on the way out. Wait, Hibari! Why? Tell her to get lost. Kotori tried to chase after Hibari, but Hibari left too quickly. Who needs her, dude? What a thundercloud. And her parents could suck it too. Who cares? Kotori watched Hibari's back disappear behind a wall of tears. You get it. She's crying. Anyway, whatever. Tell Hibari and her parents to suck it. None of their business. With the finishing operations done, we headed back to the office.
Kotori wa?
Where's Kotori? She just went home. For the time being, we should try to keep it down.
So ne.
Yeah, we should. What was that at the end? After that, the mood changed. Everyone silently finished the last procedures of the day. While everyone gathered at the office, I headed up to Kotori's dorm room. Kotori's legs got that way in an accident. An accident that involved a hot air balloon, which I don't know when did we learn that? Anyway, an accident that involved a hot air balloon crashing on its way to its destination. The trip was suffered through a service that offered sightseeing packages. I don't know, like, when did we learn that? Or is this the reveal of how exactly it happened? Anyway, Kotori was riding in the balloon with her mother, and it crashed. Everyone seemed to have only minor injuries except Kotori. So Hibari's behavior wasn't entirely out of the blue.
ひばりさん、まるで目の前で事故が起こったみたいに震えてたよね。
I'm sure that Hibari was remembering the accident, so she stood there trembling. See, again, like, this for me, I mean, if I was Kotori, this would piss me off. Like, I would get, like, because this is always how I deal. This is always how I react when confronted. I get super, super angry. Like, because, I don't know, like, and especially in this case, like, so Hibari sees her sister flying, comes unhinged, which, like, that part of it's not uncommon, it's not surprising, it's not that weird even. But, like, for me, that would be part of what I would latch onto if I was Kotori. I would be like, look, it was Mom and I in that balloon when there was an accident. I am choosing to do this. I am not blind and I am not an idiot or whatever. And, like, Kotori's a good pilot. She's good at flying. So I don't know, man. It's like for me, that's what I would latch onto. And especially Hibari slapping her. For me, I'm like, what, like, first of all, my business, not yours. Like, I would just come so unglued. I would come unglued if anyone reacted like that, and especially because I'm like, look, not even all of us were in that stupid balloon, and everyone else had minor injuries, and so if anyone is allowed to take the risk, it's the person who lost the most. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, she has the most ground to stand on. So I don't know. That's just lame, dude. Just not a fan. I feel like secondhand anger. I feel like secondhand anger. Like, just, it makes me so mad. Anyway, I'm sure that Hibari was remembering the accident as she stood there trembling. At the time of the hot air balloon accident, Hibari and her father were standing close enough to see it happen. Hibari undoubtedly saw Kotori getting out of the glider, and it was probably brought back memories. Kotori was hiding the fact that she was flying from Hibari. I'm guessing that she didn't want to worry anyone.
そんな事情があったなんてね。
So she has that kind of history. Agaha, it seems, was swore to secrecy. Hibari knew that Kotori was in the soaring club, but she probably assumed that Kotori was helping to service the glider or some such things.
あの人の家庭の事情はよく知らないけれど、娘がグライダーに乗ってるなんて知ったらご両親はさぞ心配するでしょうね。
I don't know about the circumstances very well, but any parent who saw their daughter in a glider like that would be worried, right?
小鳥先輩がコックピットから降りてくるのを見たとき、ひばりさん、真っ青でした。
It was when Hibari saw Kotori being helped out of the cockpit that she went ghostly white.
どうしようかね。
You're
これから。
You're right, it was after that. I don't know. For now, let's try and talk with Kotori later. That, and we could try to contact Hibari. I still couldn't believe that Hibari slapped Kotori. Yeah, I know, because I would have dropped her if she had touched me. That she was that angry. Yeah, that would not have gone down well to me. I can promise you that.
あと、
Hat.
お姉ちゃんのこと悲しませちゃっ
I
た。
feel bad for my sister. Freaking why?
いつも私のこと一番に考えて優しくしてくれてたお姉ちゃんなのに。
Agree to disagree. I only think of myself, even over my kind sister. Kind enough to smack you? That's not that kind. For me, that puts you on my shit list immediately. I'm like, all right, goodbye, lifelong friendship and family ship. You're out of my life forever. That's it.
でも私飛びたいんだもん。
But I want to fly.
お姉ちゃんやお父さんやお母さんに心配かけたくないけど。
But I don't want to make my sister, my mother, my father worry. So
どうしても飛びたいの。
I want to fly at any cost.
どうすればいい？ねえ、ハット。
So what should I do?
教えてよ。
Tell me, Hat.
どうして私は飛びたいんだろう。
Why do I want to fly so much? Sad face. Drama, sad face.
今日はすみませんでした。お見苦しいところをお見せしてしまって。
Sorry about today. You came in at a bad time. Yep, I'll say. When is the right time for that? No, I'm sorry for intruding. I understand your concerns. On my way home, I called Hibari to try and explain the situation. Why Kotori decided to join the Soaring Club. What kind of activities the Soaring Club participated in. Without hiding anything.
クラブ活動のおかげなんですよね。小鳥ちゃんが元気になっていったのは。
Thanks to being in the Soaring Club, Kotori has become cheerful. Yeah, I agree.
でも、
But I heard about the situation from Kotori. She's really stressing about you, Hibari. Thanks to you, she's been really down. He's like, so thanks a lot, asshole. She said when she calmed down, she'd try and call you.
ありがとうございます、水瀬さん。私からもメールをしてみます。
Thank you, Ally. I'll send her a text too.
今は感情的になってしまって、ちゃんと話せそうにないので。
Today it got a little emotional and we didn't get to talk through it properly. A little emotional? A little emotional? You got pissed, you slapped her, and you yelled at her and left. How is that a little emotional? That is you being a child and being pissed. Like, wow. Yeah, please talk to her. I don't know if that should be the advice or should be get out of her life should be another advice. After I got off the phone, I sighed. From where I stood, I could see Kotori's bedroom window, but the light was off. She's probably exhausted from crying and fell asleep. Yeah? Something like that.
おかえりなさい。
Ah, welcome home. Thanks. Kotori stood at the entranceway playing with Hat. She wore a mask that smiled, undoubtedly trying to be brave.
もうお腹ペコペコよ。早くご飯にしましょう。
Man, I'm starving. You want to grab a quick bite? He's like, yeah, man.
双子シスターズは？
Do you have a twin? I wanted to get some ramen today, so I think I'll go out to eat.
ラーメンか。
I feel like
いいの？
I feel like that must have been a translation thing, because her question went unanswered, and I don't know, it seemed weird. Ramen sounds good. She was really considerate of my feelings. Kotori promptly went to the refrigerator and began pulling out the ingredients for dinner.
今日はハヤシライスだったわね。牛肉解凍しなきゃ。マッシュルームはと。
Today we had hash rice, the beef has to thaw, let's see, mushrooms. Are you okay?
どうかな。多分平気じゃないと思う。
Huh? Well, I suppose I'm not exactly alright, but... Right. I know Kotori's trying to come across as happy, but somehow there was a crack under her mask of pleasantries.
お姉ちゃんとは落ち着いてから話してみる。 黙ってたこと謝りたいし。
Habari calmed down enough to try and talk. I wanted to apologize for keeping everything from her.
でもお父さんたちには内緒にしとかないといけない。
But I have to keep this as a secret from my parents. To keep them from being worried? Kotori shakes her head.
お父さんにバレたら無理やりにでも家に連れ戻されちゃうもん。
If my father knew, he would make me move back into our house.
だから今はまだ黙ってないと。
And so I didn't say anything yet. But Habari said she'd called my dad today.
やめてってお願いするつもりよ。
He plans on asking me to quit.
夏休みが終わるまでって期限付きで。
With a fixed deadline, the end of summer break.
そしたらあとは自分で話すわ。
If that's the case, I need to talk to him myself.
もしお父さんとお母さんがグライダーに乗っちゃダメって言うなら、その時はすっぱり諦める。
Only for now, though. That's the thing. Only for now, though. Really, like the large takeaway here is like as soon as you get to be like whatever 18 or well, as soon as you're old enough to be an adult legally, then you like even if you felt like they had enough ground to stand on in this case to stop you. Even if you felt like that was the case, when really they actually don't, because you could easily just put your foot down and be like, you know, you will have to drag me away. I will make your life hell until I turn 18 or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that, like, you know, really, like, absolute worst case scenario, you'd be like, look, as soon as I'm an adult, I'm gonna get, like, find a good career with something I'm good at. Like, I mean, obviously before then, I'm gonna get things lined up so I'm ready to go. And then as soon as I'm an adult, I'm gonna do those things, and then I'm gonna buy a glider, and then you'll be an adult, and you'll be like, there's nothing you can do to stop me. So it's like, worst case scenario, like, all they can do is delay you at absolute worst. So I'm just saying. Anyway, maybe if my mother and father both say it's time to stop flying on the glider, then I'll have to call it quits.
この夏で引退ってわけ。去年のアマネちゃんみたいでしょ。
Meaning, this summer I'll retire, just like Amane did last year. Kotori.
だから葵くんも。
And so, Aoi, I got it. I got your back.
ありがとう葵くん。
Thanks, Aoi. Kotori, who smiled as she thanked me, despite the large tears that had formed in her eyes and were ready to spill.
あれなんだろう。なんで今頃泣いてるの私。
What? What's that all about? I was just crying. Kotori, with both hands, wiped away the tears.
安心したからかな。葵くんが味方してくれるって分かって。
It's such a relief to know that I have you as my supporter. You don't have to say it like that. I leaned over to Kotori near me and hugged her gently. Kotori buried her face on my shoulder and sobbed.
お姉ちゃんに叩かれたの初めてだよ。
Whoa.
すごいびっくり。
What do you mean a jerk to your sister? You didn't even do anything. You didn't even say anything. She's the one that hit you, remember? She's the one that yelled at you. Like, Kotori didn't even raise her voice. But that was not what being a jerk is. That was like, she was downright like level-headed by all like, you know, considering what could have happened. You know, she was really level-headed. Like, you know, that was not being a jerk. Like, you know, her sister was the jerk. Kotori was very calm and collected by, like, comparing to what could have been. So that's not what I would call being a jerk. Like, just, yeah, that's not what that looks like. Anyway, this was the first time I've ever been a jerk to my sister. I was so surprised. Habari's always been kind. Maybe it's a translation error, and this is the first time Habari's been a jerk to me, which is accurate.
そうなの。優しいの。
Yeah, something like that. Kind.
私の周りには優しい人いっぱいなの。
I'm surrounded by kind people. Lots of them.
私自分勝手で。
And yet I'm so self-centered. I pet Kotori's hair and said nothing as she cried herself out. Sad face. Sad face? Well, you know, you have Aoi, and he has your back for realsies. So who even needs the rest of these little schlubs? Who needs these herbs anyway?
以上が昨日起こった出来事に関係する我が家の事情です。
I'm assuming that she just finished saying, and that's everything related to what happened yesterday. Anyway, and that's everything that related to what happened yesterday. Well, that's just how things are for me at home.
みんな迷惑をかけてごめんなさい。
Sorry I caused everyone trouble. After explaining the situation to everybody, Kotori gave a deep bow. As I had already told everyone about the balloon incident and her staying quiet about the glider to her parents and Hibari, no one was shocked to hear her tell it.
それはいいんだけどさ、
That's all well and good, but
あんたは続けられる
you're
の？
not gonna quit, right?
そのつもり。少なくともこの夏が終わるまではね。
That's right, at least not until summer ends.
どういうことですか？
What do you mean?
ひばり姉にお願いしたの。夏休みが終わったら自分で話すから、それまでお父さんたちには黙っててって。
I made a promise with Hibari. I said I'd tell everything myself once summer vacation was over, and I asked her not to say anything to our dad until then. Hibari had seemed a bit disappointed at the idea, but ultimately had agreed to Kotori's request. No matter what, Kotori is her little sister.
お父さんたちがグライダーのこと知ったら反対すると思う。
Well, there's something I learned a long time ago, that blood only makes you related, loyalty makes you family. And feel it a little bit like loyalty was violated after they started throwing blows. And she immediately is gonna go run off to mommy and daddy the second she learns Kotori's doing something that she doesn't like. You know, that's not really all that loyal, is it? And you know what they say, and that is like my motto. That I heard that forever ago, and it's been like part of like I added it to my top 10 list of things I love and super agree with. You know, blood makes you related. So yeah, Hibari is technically your older sister. Doesn't mean crap if she's not loyal to you though. And it doesn't seem very loyal to me to go running off to mom and dad the second you find out someone's doing something you don't necessarily agree with. Because I can tell you what, if anyone in my family said a word to me about anything that they were doing that wasn't whatever, I would absolutely have their back. And it wouldn't matter what they said, because they're my family. And so whatever they told me, I'd be like, okay, you know, how are we gonna deal with this or whatever. Or if they're like, I need you to keep this a secret. And if it wasn't like actually harming anybody else, like, you know, it's not like, you know, if the secret was like, whatever, I'm into this and this thing, then I will carry it to the grave. Don't even have to worry about it. Unless it's something like illegal or super duper immoral, like immoral or something, then you know I will never tell a soul, you know, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what family's for. That's what loyalty's all about. You know, Hibari seemed a little bit like a fake sister, like a fake family. Just saying. Anyway, I thought if my parents knew about the glider, they'd be against it.
それだけじゃないわ。きっと無理にでも家に連れ戻されちゃう。
But it's not just that. I knew that they would definitely make me go back home.
そんな。
Ridiculous.
だからお父さんたちがダメって言うなら、私はこの夏で部活を引退するつもり。
Well, if they said no, I was planning on quitting after the break ends.
引退って。待ってよ、そんなの。
Quit? Hold on, that's just...
ごめん、アゲハ。
Sorry, Agaha. Agaha bit her tongue as Kotori apologized. She knew that persisting would only cause trouble for Kotori.
ソアリング部に席を置いていても飛びさえしなければいいんじゃないの？
Wouldn't it be alright if you were just a member of the club? You don't have to fly. Kotori shook her head.
多分関わることも許してくれないと思う。それにもう信じてはくれないだろうし。
I don't think he'd allow me to do anything related to it, and I don't think anyone would believe me anyway. We don't know how her father would react until it actually happens. But she did keep it a secret. It would be naive to think you would be trusted again after that.
それにみんなのおかげで私はもう空を飛ぶ気持ちよさを知っちゃったから。
Thanks to you all, now I know what it feels like to fly.
二度と飛べないって分かってるのにグライダーの近くに居続けるなんて多分無理。
Asterisk until you're an adult. Anyway, since I won't be able to fly again, I don't think I can stay anywhere near a glider. Until I'm an adult anyway, lols.
みんな自分でまいた種だからしょうがないわ。自己責任ってやつね。
We all reap what we sow. There's nothing else that can be done. It's all my fault. The hell it is. Asa started to look sad. Yoru also didn't seem to be convinced. Thank you, twins.
じゃあ私も引退かな。
Well then, I'm quitting too. What? Hey, what did you just say?
だってさ、私は楽しいからやってるわけ。
Well,
楽しくないならやる価値なし。
I like Agaha's attitude. Well, I'm only here because it's fun. If it's not fun, it's not worth doing.
小鳥がいないならもうやんぴ。
If Kotori isn't gonna be here, I quit too. Looking disappointed, Agaha folded her arms behind her head. Quitting.
バカなこと言わないでよ。せっかくここまでやってきたんじゃない。
Don't be ridiculous after all you did to make it this far.
あまねちゃん飛ばすためにみんなでグライダーを修理して。
Well, we all worked together to fix the glider so Amane could fly.
ガレージ壊されちゃった後も
朝たちのおかげでこんな立派な活動場所を見つけて、
After the garage was destroyed, Asa helped us find this great place.
やっと機体の改良ができてまた飛べるようになって、ようやくまともに活動できるようになったんじゃない？
And after we finally finished the repairs and it could fly again, now you can finally do what we were planning to do.
だからでしょ。
Well, yeah.
私はグライダーでも何でもよかったの。ロボット部の方が楽しければあっち続けてたと思う。
But it doesn't matter if it's gliders or whatever. If I thought the robot club would be more fun, I'd be in it instead.
でも葵や小鳥や天音先輩とものづくりする方が面白いから私はこっちを選んだの。
Making stuff with you, Aoi, and Amane is fun. That's why I picked this club.
小鳥、あんたと何かするのが楽しかったの。
Kotori, doing stuff with you is what's fun.
そのあんたがいなくなっちゃうんじゃん。なんかもうつまんない。
If you're not here, it'd be a complete bore.
アゲハ。
Ageha. Kotori gave Ageha a look filled with both happiness and frustration. I totally get it though. She's like, look, I'm only here because I'm hanging out with you guys. You know, if the club starts fracturing because of, you know, certain parties are idiots, then, you know, she's like, then I'm not hanging out just because I'm like tied to this glider. Like, you know, like I'm like, I totally get that, you know. I agree.
葵くんまで。
Aoi, you too? I didn't only want to fly the glider. Yeah, it was really fun. I liked it a lot, but it was only fun because you all were here. If all I wanted to do was fly, I could have just gone to the gliding field and flown until I was sick of it. It was amazingly fun, and I didn't want to quit. It wasn't what I truly wanted, though. If we can't do it together...
朝のことはどうすんの
But
よ。
what about Asa? Asa looked as if she was about to cry.
いえ、私はいいんです。終わってしまうのは悲しいですけど、皆さんの熱い友情も素敵ですし。
I'm fine. I mean, I'm sad that it's all over, but this friendship is so beautiful.
それに、私だって同じです。
And yeah, I'm the same.
空を飛んでみたいからソアリング部に入ったんじゃありません。
I didn't join the soaring club because I wanted to fly.
皆さんの仲間に入りたくて、ソアリング部に入ったん
I
です。
joined the club so I could be friends with all of you.
朝。
Asa,
無理しちゃって。
don't be over dramatic. Oh, Yoru, don't be such a stick in the mud. Man, everyone knows you're basically friends with them too.
無理してないもん。本当だ
I
も
am
ん。
not. It's the truth.
まあそうよね。ただ飛びたいだけならおじいちゃんにお願いすれば一発だものね。
Well, I guess it's true. If all I wanted was to fly, I'd have just asked my grandfather and I'd be in the air in no time.
ってことで、あんたが引退するならソアリング部は即時解散ね。
What we're saying is, if you quit, then the soaring club is disbanding.
ダメよ、そんなの。責任感じちゃうじゃない。
What? No, you can't do that. It'll all be my fault.
感じればいいんじゃないかしら。実際あるわけだ
It's
し。
fine to feel that. It's the truth. Shut up, Yoru. She is the club leader.
あんたらって。
Aw, you guys.
話をまとめるわよ。夏が終わるまでは今まで通り全力でモーニンググローリーを目指す。
Look, the point is this. Let's just focus on the morning glory until the summer's over.
その後は
After
知らん。
after that, who knows?
ある意味今までと何も変わってないわね。
Basically, nothing has to change.
頑張りましょうね。小鳥先輩。
Come on, let's go, Kotori. You could almost say this problem made us all closer. At least it seemed like everyone felt that way.
葵、ついでにあの話もしとく？
Hey, Aoi, so should we talk about that thing? Oh, yeah. Well, about the flight. That is, when Morning Glory makes its appearance. Kotori, you're gonna be the main pilot. What? Frustrated by having her hands held back by Asa, Kotori listened to me dumbfounded. You've got enough skill to be the pilot. You don't have enough experience, but I'll help you with that.
でも葵くんだって自分で飛びたいんじゃ。
But Aoi, you want to fly. Well, yeah, that's true, but it's fine with me as long as someone flies over the clouds.
アゲハたちはそれでいいの？
Ageha, are you guys alright with this?
私はほら別に飛びたいわけじゃないから。
Hey, I didn't even really want to fly.
他に乗りたい人がいるなら譲るのはやぶさかじゃないってところね。
If someone else wants to fly, I'm more than willing to let them.
私は先輩たちがそれでいいならいい
If
で
it's
す。
fine with everyone else, then it's fine with me.
私はただの部外者
I'm
です。
not even part of the club.
みんな
You guys.
ありがとう。私のために。
All of this for me. Thank you. Kotori looks as if she's about to cry tears of joy.
ああ、一つ訂正しとくけど、別にあんたのためじゃないからね。
Well, that's not quite right. We're not doing all of this for you. Huh?
私は私のためにやってる
I'm
の。
doing this for myself. Same here.
私もです。
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Me too. Not knowing how to take it all, Kotori began to show a complex mix of emotions. I almost laughed at the odd combination of tears and looks of amusement on her face.
だから遠慮なんかするなってこと。
So don't even think about not doing it. You can fly if you want to. Okay. Kotori started to cry again, this time with a smile on her face. Hell yeah. That's right, we can't let the man get us down. We're gonna get this morning glory, we're gonna get our snazzy pictures, and it's all gonna be happily ever after, man. Like, and then, who knows what? Because look, the point of the club, like, the overall point, yes, they had a goal, and yes, the goal was to fly above morning glory, the super rare cloud sky phenomenon, alright? And take a sweet picture to honor their elders from 28 years ago. Okay, and that's super great. But really, the real takeaway is the friendship you gained. Is like the lasting, lifelong, ideally, lifelong relationships that you're gonna make with all of these people. You know, with Aoi and Agaha, like he already has like friendships since being a little kid with some of these people, and now and like there's no reason to believe if they keep at it that they won't be friends with like this whole circle won't be friends up until old age. Like if they worked at it, that type of stuff does happen. Not in my life, but that does happen in theory. I know people that have had friends they've been friends with their whole lives. Not on a personal level, but I do know of them. Anyway, but the point is, so like they can't let the man can't keep you down because you'll still have your friendships. You'll still discover that really what they enjoyed doing was doing things together. They really enjoyed whether it was making something, but like really just whatever they were doing together was a good time. And if nothing else, this might have an effect on their careers down the road. It probably will affect what they realize what their interests are down the road. But like they're so young, like they have so much time, like like this isn't the last time, like and whatever, like even this all feels very dramatic, like it's the end of the world, and it feels like it to them. I remember what it's like to be a teenager. It wasn't that long ago. Like I remember what it feels like, and it does feel like the end of the world, but it's only because your perspective is so small. Like, and then you realize that your whole life is going to be full of pain and heartache. So don't get too excited because there's more of it to come. Don't even worry about it. They're like, oh, that's a good takeaway. Your suffering has only just begun. That's the takeaway. It's like, this is nothing. Like, you will laugh. This is at best a mild irritation, a minor setback. You haven't even seen adulthood yet. You don't even know what real pain is like. Anyway, and that's the takeaway. Pain is forever. And friendship can be too, if you work at it. Anyway, that'll be where we call this episode. There was some serious development here. Like, Hibari has gone on my list of people I really dislike now. But the good news is but people have left the list before. It's happened. Like Akari. I didn't like Akari at first. I felt like she was just putting us down. But by this point, I feel like I have a better handle on her as a person. And now, she's awesome. I mean, she's as good as a person in any kind of seat of power can be. Like, that's about the best you can expect. So, but for a person who's in some sort of political governmental role, she's pretty likable, for a person in a role of power, anyway. So there's a balancing act there, but regardless, that'll be a good place to call it. There was a good development. There was some drama. Don't like Hibari very much anymore, but don't worry about it. Whatever. Who cares? She's a supporting character. I don't even care. Anyway, and so now that this feels like they're setting the stage that they're like, look, this is the end game. Like, we're going to get us past the morning glory. We're going to have this event, and then there's going to be a sweet prologue, and then that'll be the ending of the thing. I don't know how long away that is. I mean, that could be any moment now. I really don't know. Because they've been doing lots of little time skips and time lapses. They've been doing it for a while, so it's not at all like... It wouldn't at all be surprising to think that, that they would continue that trend. So, anyway, but regardless, it was really good progress. So today is Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. It is my early day at work. And it is usually my longer day at work, but it feels faster to me. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is uploads. So tomorrow, it wouldn't at all surprise me if I did upload something. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. And technically, my schedule for obviously my channel is Monday through Friday, so I don't commit to Saturdays. I just often put stuff up on Saturdays, and sometimes Sundays as well. I often put stuff up on different days, you never know. Now Saturday used to be my sister's and I's day to game, and so I didn't used to do that on Saturday, but we have moved our day to Sunday because it worked a little better with our schedules, especially, and yeah, it worked better with both of our schedules, honestly, and so we have moved our day, so now Saturday is way more up for grabs as far as uploads. So there's a possibility that videos might be going out tomorrow after work. It depends on how truly exhausted I am, and if my commentary is good, if my desire is there, we will see. Otherwise, though, no, almost certainly no videos on Sunday because it's my sister's and I's day, and I have errands in the morning. And then next week, the beginning 3 days of next week are going to be total ass, and I am very not happy about it. It's training stuff for work, it's across town, very early, all day long, and I'm so mad about it. So I don't want to go into that whole tangent, fall down that rabbit hole again, but suffice it to say, I'm super pissed about that work crap. So we just have to kind of white knuckle it through next week. I don't know what's going to happen with next week. I don't even know if I'm uploading Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday too, because Wednesday is a half day. It only goes till noon, but that'll be my third day in a row of getting up at the crack of dawn and driving across the city. So I will probably be either a zombie or pissed or both. So I don't know if anything will be going out any Monday through Wednesday of next week. I would like to, but I might be so tired that, and my time will be non-existent, and like free time because, you know, like I said, cross town. So I don't know. It's going to be just awful. Now, Wednesday, half day, so maybe on Wednesday afternoon after I get home, maybe then if I didn't upload Monday and Tuesday, but Thursday and Friday of next week will be my normal days, my normal schedule, but I imagine I'll be catching up on sleep for the rest of that week, so I don't know what's happening. And then I do have Saturday off next week, although I normally don't, and then the week after, my schedule should be back to normal Tuesday through Saturday, and so it should be normal after that. And then hopefully that should be the last bit of stupid, pointless training for work I should have, ideally, and they should just leave me the hell alone so I can do my normal stuff that I already know and trained how to do, and then no more of this pointless crosstown training. So here's hoping. So next week's a little weird, but we'll muscle through it. We'll see. Anyway, that is going to call it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and we will talk to you guys later.